there on the crowded day. Walking through Jerusalem just like John. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready, Lord. Walking through Jerusalem just like John. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready, Lord. Walking through Jerusalem just like John. Some comes lame, walking to Jerusalem just like John. Yeah, some come walking in Jesus' name. I'm going to Jerusalem just like John. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready, Lord. Walking to Jerusalem just like John. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready, Lord. Walking to Jerusalem just like John. Before I do, walking to Jerusalem just like John. Tell all my friends I'm coming too. Walking to Jerusalem just like John. I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be ready, Lord. Walking to Jerusalem just like John. I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be ready, Lord. Walking to Jerusalem just like John.
So we're doing the 12 gateways to personal, we're doing everyday enlightenment. The 12 gateways to personal growth by Dan Millman. And this week we are in gateway 7, which is accept your emotions, the center of the cyclone. Which reminds me that our care circles are in a deep book study on the eye of the storm. So very similar. So I want to do 2 quotes. The first one is by Ernest Holmes, and it is from this thing called You. If God created you after his own nature, and there is nothing else he could have made you out of from, then the thing you are after is already here, within you. The only things that stand between you and it are the accumulated thoughts, beliefs, and emotions of the ages. Of the ages. But there is nothing there that has not been put there either by yourself or by the race. And what has been put there can be removed. And then this is from my Stroke of Insight by Dr. Jill Bolt Taylor. She is a brain scientist and she had a stroke. If you haven't read the book or watched her YouTube or her TED Talk, I suggest you do that. It is fascinating. And I found that this quote was like, oh, really? Okay. When a person has a reaction to something in their environment, their emotional response, there's a 90-second chemical process that happens in the body. 90 seconds. After that, any remaining emotional response is just the person choosing to stay in that emotional loop. Something happens in the external world and chemicals are flushed through your body, which puts it on full alert. For those chemicals to totally flush out of the body, it takes less than 90 seconds. This means that for 90 seconds, you can watch the process happening, you can feel it happening, and then you can watch it go away. After that, if you continue to feel fear, anger, and so on, you need to look at the thoughts you were thinking that are re-stimulating the circuitry that is resulting in you having this physiological response over and over again. Dang it! Seriously, 90 seconds. I was like, oh, that can't be possible. So where do emotions come from? Most of them? Okay, like she said, you have 90, you have something that happens to you. Your body is going to respond. That's the emotion. The body responds. 90 seconds. And what we do is we don't pay any attention to our body, do we? We don't go, oh my goodness, I'm feeling anger right now. We get angry. I think, and somebody who is in a care circle can help me, Gary Simmons talked about it is amazing in relationship how when we talk about how we feel or the emotions that we have, it's like war. War was not what he used. What was it? Do you remember what I'm talking about? I'm looking at care circle people here. But it's like we refer to all of those emotions as if we're being attacked. Pardon?
Yes.
They're being attacked, right? Like we're being attacked. And so you can imagine your body feels this emotion. Somebody makes you mad and you feel this emotion. You ignore the emotion and you go immediately for the response, and then you're in your head. And then that emotion's going to stay, right? Because you're in your head. Now you're adding. You might as well have a little tiny flame here, and then you go like this. Come on, grow. Come on, bigger, right? And so what if we all just stopped for a minute? What if we all just stopped for just a nanosecond and thought, okay, that's uncomfortable. Where do I feel that? What if we stop and ask our body, where do I feel that anger? Where do I feel that sadness? Where do I feel that fear? And then if you really want to take some time, ask yourself, when did I feel that before? And when I'm talking before, I'm not talking about yesterday or the day before. I'm talking about most of that reaction comes, remember that little 5-year-old that's hanging out inside your body that just doesn't want to grow up? And every once in a while you let it come up to the front of the bus and get behind the wheel and start to drive. I don't know about you guys, I do that all the time. And it's like, seriously, do I want my 5-year-old hanging out with a bunch of adults? Misbehaving? Not so much. So your mind gives everything meaning. Your body just responds. And so what if you just took that time out? Just took a time out and went, okay, all right, I'm going to breathe. That's not easy to do. It sounds easy, doesn't it? Until somebody, does that P word to you. Off, right? Now they do that. And then it's like, your body might feel something, but your mind, boy, has taken over and going to attack. I'm going to protect myself. I'm going to defend myself. What if we didn't? This philosophy, like Ernest Holmes said, this philosophy is all about understanding. That's not God. That's a human response that we have made up all by our little lonesomes. And so you can add to your emotional state by different things, right? If you're tired, how many of you get more emotional when you're tired, right? If you eat, I'm not going to say wrong. Let's just say you eat and I shouldn't do dairy. It doesn't agree with me. Or I probably shouldn't pound down half a cake and then think I'm going to be okay. Or I shouldn't, have that 10th cup of coffee. You laugh. just watch me out at lunch sometime, right? But all of that is playing on your nerve endings. And so it makes you more emotionally responsive. And it also makes you less likely to take a time out and think, okay, what's my body feeling? If your body's full of sugar, your body's probably feeling, whoa, high alert. Somebody's out to get me. Or whatever I was talking to somebody and we were talking about looking at our life, and I've got this magnificent life that I have created for the last 19 years. However, I'm 69 years old. That means 50 of those years, I wasn't this person. And so when I get tired, or I eat a lot of sugar, or I'm just not awake and aware for whatever reason, guess who shows up? This person who's created this magnificent life for 19 years? No! Cut me off on the freeway sometime, find out who shows up. She's still sober, but she still gets really angry. Right? And so it's just, you just have to be aware that how you treat this place that houses God, this place where God lives, because that's what we teach here. Each and every one of us is God informed. So this is where God lives. And if I'm going to pump it full of sugar and coffee and all that kind of stuff and not give it the rest that it probably needs, not drink enough water, not do anything that keeps this healthy, and then I assume I'm going to go out into the world and I'm going to handle all my emotions just perfectly? Probably not. So what tools can I have to help me? Because I think that's important. Because regardless, there are going to be days, Courtney, put your fingers in your ears. There are going to be days I might want to have a whole 6-pack of cookies. I know. You think I would have learned, but no. You know, there are times I'm going to do that. And I know that I'm going to do that. So what's my go-to if something happens in those moments where I'm all sugared up and something comes and chops me off at the kneecaps? How am I going to respond? How do I get back into my body? The first and easiest thing you can do is use your breath. You know, they say, I don't know, if the rest of the world knows how to breathe, we don't in the United States. I don't know. They always say, we don't know how to breathe here. I'm like, okay. And it's true. We don't take deep breaths. We breathe like we move. And most of us, at least me, I will own this, we move at 90 miles an hour. I move 90 miles an hour, just so you know, is much slower than I used to move. Because my husband has reminded me over the last years of our married life, would you just slow down? Just so you don't run into that wall for the 6th time. So, breathing and long, deep breath. So you breathe in through the nose to the count of, I had a friend who used to do this in yoga. She'd start out at 5. Breathe in through your nose to the count of 5. Hold for 5. Breathe out through your mouth for the count of 5. And then the next time it would be 6. And then the next time it would be 7. And when she'd do 8, I'd say, I'm out. I still have not practiced enough to breathe into the count of 8, hold for 8, breathe out. However, whatever it takes, once your body, if you start concentrating on your breath, 2 things happen. Your body goes, I'm safe. I don't have to get into fight or flight. I'm safe. The other thing that happens when you're counting, your mind really, as much as we like to think we can do multiple things at the same time, our mind, truly they're proving, not so good at that. And so if you're counting your breath, your mind has given up trying to tell you why you're mad at that person, or what that person has done, or wah, 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 So breathing. Breathing is a great way to get you back into your body. The other thing is paying attention to your body. Sit up. No, seriously, everybody, if you're not sitting up straight, sit up. I see everybody's kind of like moving, because we all, don't we? Oh my God, you should see me sitting on my couch at home. You'd think I was this tall. I sink into that couch. I love that couch. However, sitting up straight, feet on the floor, this is what I got from Christine. That's when she meditates. Don't put your back up next to the back of the chair, because your tendency is to relax. And so just move it forward just a little tiny bit so that your body is present. I'm not saying you have to sit this way all the time. However, when you want to be really mindful of your body and what's going on, then sit up or stand up straight. Remember that old thing that I don't think girls do this anymore because, you know, we don't have to. But it used to be a thing when I was growing up that we'd walk around with books on our head. How many of you are old enough to know that, right? Yep. Walk around with books on your head. Why? Have you ever tried to walk and balance a book on your head? Well, for those of you raise your hands, you have. And if you haven't, go home and try that. Don't get a book that would hurt you when it falls off, because it will. When you first start to do this. It was to teach us how to walk like a lady. Because first of all, not only do you have to stand up tall, and your neck has to be straight, and your shoulders have to be back. You can't take big old steps. Because if you start to walk a mile an hour, that book's going to be left back there. And so you learn to take little lady steps. I know. So gentlemen, today when you go home, you put a book on your head. Or anybody that's under 60, go home and try it. Put a book on your head. It will help you learn what it feels like for your body to stand up straight. The other thing you can do, get a kite. I'm serious. And I mean a competition kite. Not one of those ones where the little cute ones. Competition kites are 2-string kites. They're about 8 feet long, or 8 feet wide. I used to fly them. And you want to save money on going to a chiropractor? Get a competition kite. Because it absolutely requires that you stand straight and control the kite so you can do tricks with it. So either one of those would work. The book, probably less expensive because you have books at home. And more fun to see if you can do it. So, change your environment. When you're angry or sad or upset about anything, change your environment. If you're in your living room, get up and go to your bedroom. If you're in your bedroom, get up and go into the kitchen. If you really want to change your environment and you're in your house and you're very angry, get up and go outside. Breathe and notice. Notice the beauty of where we live. Or notice the rain, because today I understand it's supposed to be plentiful. But whatever it is, change your environment. If you stay where you are and you're angry, you're letting your mind say, let's just chew on this, shall we? Let's just chew on this. The other thing is, along with changing your environment, you can change how you're feeling in that environment. So for instance, remember I talked, I think 2 weeks ago, if you're upset about something, start to look around and just point out 5 things to yourself. Like, oh, Karen's here today, I didn't see her come in. And Jim's up there, I didn't see Jim come in either. Hi, Jim. Right? Just change what you're thinking in that moment. Read a book. That sometimes is hard to me. I don't know about you all, but When I am upset and I try to read, my monkey mind can take over and I think I'm reading. And then I'm like, no, you're staring at the book and you're still running through your mind whatever has upset you. And so really consciously looking at something different and making that part of your reality. Don't have to look again, sorry folks. I love this. I don't know why I forgot this, I love this. Applied humor. Some of you have probably heard this story. I'm going to share it anyway because I think it's hysterical. And this is when you're in a very tense situation. I would never want this job. So, you're a ticket agent at CTAC. You're standing there, your day's pretty cool. People are coming up, they're pleasant, everything's going well. And then they cancel a flight to Las Vegas. Now you've got 100 and some odd people in line. Some of them, it's their vacation. They had a particular time they wanted to get to Vegas because there were things that they wanted to do. This is not their first rodeo. There's a time they want to be there, they want to check in, they want to go gamble, they want to go see a show, whatever it is. What's happening? They're upset. You have got people that are going there on a business trip. They're the speaker. What do you mean? They're going to be late. What the heck's going on? You've got people that just want to get out of Seattle and get to Vegas because they heard it's 90 degrees there and we're in the middle of a rainstorm. People are not happy. Now, I don't know about you. I've never had 100 plus people really angry at me that I'm aware of. Not saying I haven't, I'm just not aware of it. You even have to stand there as a ticket agent and realize you are the most unpopular person in the airport right now. So this guy with his suitcase comes walking up to the counter and he is angry, and looks at the ticket agent and says, I want you to get me a first class flight seat out of here right now. And she said, I'm sorry, sir. You know, she's polite. I'm sorry, sir, you're gonna have to get him on. And he's like, seriously, do you know who I am? And she grabs the mic without missing a beat and said, I'm sorry, I have a passenger here who doesn't know who he is. Does anybody here want to help him? Everybody starts to laugh. Not him. Everybody else starts to laugh. And then he says something very unkind to her, you can imagine. And her response to him was, you'll have to wait in line for that also, sir. Nobody else complained about their flight. Right? Nobody else complained. I don't know if I can do that in the moment. I don't know if that's actually a true story, and it doesn't matter. Humor works. If you're upset, put on a movie that you know makes you laugh. For me, it's Bill and Ted's Great Adventure. Is that the right one? No. Weekend with Bernie. That's the one. When Bernie starts bouncing across the water, oh my gosh. To this day, I still laugh and cry at the same time. It's hysterical. But I am also the person that loves slapstick comedy. You know, the Wild Hogs movie when they fall off the bike. I think that's funny. When my husband caught his hair on fire, I thought that was funny. Asked me after service, it really did happen. I really did laugh. And his response to me was, Gail, are you laughing as I'm walking away and my shoulders are doing this? No, honey, I'm not laughing. But I was. And I still do when I tell the story. And so humor is a great, great release. And so just to use the tools to stop the mind from making, as my mother used to say, a mountain out of a molehill. Because most of the time, what's happening in the moment is all about you and how you respond. Right? Every one of us, every moment of every day, we have a choice. Something happens, I can turn into oh gee, that's interesting. Or I can turn into a mega person and make it all about me and put my fisticuffs up and ready to go toe-to-toe with somebody. I do that less now than I used to. She's still there though. She had lots of practice. And so just to give yourself grace. And here's the other person you can give grace to. That person who has hurt your feelings or made you angry or done whatever, cut you off on the freeway, who knows? Give them grace too. Because most of the time, they have no idea. I truly believe every single one of us in every single moment is doing the best we can. And sometimes we are going to knock it out of the park, to use Bernie's reference to baseball. And sometimes we're going to strike out. And when we strike out, we don't beat ourselves up. Because if we beat ourselves up, we're never going to hit it out of the park again. What you want to do when you strike out is just go, whoa, okay, I would handle that totally different, given the opportunity to revisit that. And what I promise you is be careful when you say that, because the universe will give you another opportunity. Because that's how this works. And so I'm going to review again the steps. When you're in that emotional place, your mind is off the rails talking to you. Rebalance with your breath. Start with the count of 5. If you have never done deep breathing, start with the count of 3. But concentrate on your breath. In through the nose. Hold it out through the mouth. And just slow your breath down. As you slow your breath down, the anxiety will start to dissipate. Don't forget, first of all, let's back it up. First of all, notice instead of responding, wow, I'm angry right now. I wonder where that is in my body. Where is that anger? I've never played that game with myself, so that's going to be new for me. Attend to your posture. Stand up straight. Everybody's going to go home tonight that hasn't done this before, or today. If you've never done it before, go home, get yourself a book, walk around your house. Tell me next week how that was for you. Change your environment. You don't have to go outside. That would be my top recommendation. Just change the room you're in. There's a lot to be said to just get up and move. Apply humor. If you don't want to turn on your TV, just remember the story about the flight attendant or the ticket agent. But apply humor. There's lots of things you can find on your cell phone that are humorous, or on YouTube, or on any channel. If you've got TV, we've all got cell phones, I think. So find something funny. And then the last one, and I didn't say this, is to take appropriate action, which means that if you're stressed out because you've got an exam, study. That'll relieve some of the stress, won't it? If you're angry with somebody, I had a conversation with somebody online today. If you're angry with somebody, go to that person and tell that person you're angry with them. You don't need to build a community around you by telling everybody that you're mad with somebody. We tend to do that. We want everybody to go, well, of course you're mad at them. I'd be mad at them too. Poor thing. Yeah, that just puts you in victimhood. So stand in your truth. Go directly to the person that you have an issue with. That's not easy to do. And remember, when you do that, not if, when you do that, it's I statements. It's not anything about, well, Christine S., if you had done this, then I wouldn't feel this way. It's, Christine S., when you did this the other day, I just want you to know, this is how I felt. So I don't know, did you mean to do that? See, it's not about her, because she has no control over how I react. to anything she says or does. Ever. That's me. So let's pray. Just take a moment and not only feel into your body, take a moment and feel the air that surrounds your body. Because I want you to remember that that one life that is God's life, that is whole, complete, and perfect, it's not only within you, it's around you, it's over you, around you, through you, as you. And yet it never interferes with your humanness, does it? It's just there, waiting, knowing that you are more loved than you can imagine. You have the ability to create more abundance in your life than you give yourself credit for. You can dream, you can imagine, all of that. And you're sitting in the energy of giants. All the past great masters, all still here in this energy that you can tap into that intelligence, that love. Just think for a moment. You can tap into the love of the prophet Jesus. You can feel that body, mind, and spirit. Each and every one of us is stronger than we give ourselves credit for, braver than we want to believe, and more loving and more lovable than we can deem even possible. And so I invite you to feel that. I invite you to know that your heart, the energy from your heart, goes out 10 feet. Your energy of your brain doesn't go that far. So imagine your heart energy touching all the heart energy around you. Feel that love. Not in your head. Feel that love in your body. Let yourself get God bumps. Let yourself know, dang, I'm God in form. I see with the eyes of God. I hear with the ears of God. I love with the power of God. And so I give great, great thanks right here and right now for knowing this truth, not only for myself, not only for all of you, for everyone, everybody, everywhere. That each person begins to experience what it's like to feel connected, to feel at one, to feel and know that they are the very best version of themselves walking this planet. Be you. Everybody else is taken. So I release all of these words knowing that as it is spoken, it is done. God has said yes, for that is what God does. It says yes. So why wouldn't I want to give it a bunch of good to say yes to? So I let go, I let God, and together we say, namaste. It is so good to see all of you here. Thank you so much for being here. Have a fabulous week. Remember, you're more than your name. You're God informed. Go out and prove that to the world. Love you all.